Hello everyone, a very grand welcome to the new year and a very grand welcome to Gurudevacademy too. My name is Kiran Bedre and I'm the faculty for English and Critical Reasoning over here. In this video particularly, we are going to discuss about error detection. Basically, this is that one section of general English in all the competitive exams that a lot of aspirants have the curiosity, and apparently no matter how many times they practice, there's some or the other question that leaves them into splits or maybe into a lot of thinking, because not it is not possible to get all the answers right. But what if I tell you it is 100% possible to get those answers right if you know by the rules? What happens in competitive world is that many of the students and many of the aspirants, when it comes to the section of general English, they are not very well informed. What do I mean by that is there is no right strategy. Remember, the strategy and preparation is the basic foundation for any of the subjects, and especially when it comes to the section of general English, you can actually score out of out. That is, you can score out of out 100% in general English. You have a notion that you cannot score, but let me break that myth over here. So in this session, I'm going to particularly go through some of the commonly asked error detection which I've taken from the previous papers, and I'm going to dissect those into rules uh, in this particular video. Besides, I would also like to tell you, whenever you approach general English, please make sure that you have to approach it from the place of logic, just like the way you approach the sections of quantitative aptitude and logical reasoning. If you go by the logic, even general English seems to be very easy. But before I proceed with error detection, the questions, I would like you to take a quick look at few questions that I've given here. Okay, and I want you to take a moment, pause the video if you'd like, and tell me which of these sentences that you see in the board right now, which is going to come up in the next slide, is correct. Okay, so here's what this slide looks like. And this is the title of the video, as you can already see. Common error detection questions asked in banking examinations, and this is a 3-part series which I'm going to do, and this is part 1. But before we go and proceed to the next part, I would like you to take your time, and these are the 8 basic questions as you can see on the screen, and please tell me which one of these sentences is correct. It's not necessary that only one sentence should be right. There can be more than one sentence which could be correct. So think, analyze. Please ignore this slash over here. Okay, that's by mistake, but otherwise everything is fine. You, him, and me are not invited to the party. What could be the error in this sentence? We needed an advice from you on our project. He's better than me, a very commonly used sentence in our day-to-day life. So maybe a couple of you might be feeling third one would be the better one, or maybe the right one. I need little space to sit there. Quite tricky one here. They are stronger than us. Again, a very commonly used sentence in our daily communication or in our daily layman English language. Either he or his friends has done this. Again, a tricky one because you have both singular as well as plural subjects over here. The Diwali event will start from 9th of November. Looks pretty harmless because we're talking about a future event, and generally with future event we associate will with that. The police has arrested the criminal. All right, so I believe, since you have paused the video or if you have gone through this, I believe most of you would have chosen option number 3, maybe 5, and a couple of you might be even going with sentence number 7, which predominantly is accepted in our daily communication. But let me tell you and discuss the right answer in this case. Well, the right answer, my dear friends, in this case is, tell me which one should I go with? Third one, fifth one, or seventh one? I know you're expecting and anticipating that. Well, sorry to break your hearts. The right answer is a grand welcome to my world again. Everything that you think is right, it's not. So next time you think that you're really good in English, next time you think that you can really do it well without any help or without a good trainer, remember this video. All right. Now, but that's what we use. I mean, don't you think he's better than me? I mean, everybody uses in the communication. Well, my dear friends, it's absolutely correct in the communication. But remember, we are learning grammar English. So if you want to really score well and write in competitive world, we have to follow grammar rules. And most of our communication in our daily life, it is not grammatically correct. And what happens in communication is, as long as the other person understands us, it's more than enough, right? But it's not the case with the grammar. In the grammar, we purely stick by the rules. And I'm going to take you through those rules in this particular part one, right? So you might be curious now, what should be the answers of this? Well, let me see. I would like you to see, I would like you guys to comment the right answers in this video. So let's see how many of you get this right. And maybe I can make a video on these questions itself. All right. So let's get going with our questions. And as we go with these questions, I'll give you a 20 seconds timer. So for each question, you get 20 seconds timer and you need to find out the right error. Okay, let's get going. So this is the first question, guys. So you have your timer. Okay, let me go with the timer. You got 20 seconds. The climate of Mumbai is better than Hyderabad. Now, if you observe this particular sentence, this sentence looks harmless, but actually there's a big error in this. If you observe, guys, the climate of Mumbai is better than Hyderabad. Generally, whenever you come across the word than, it is nothing but it is used generally in comparison, right? And whenever you compare, you should make the comparison on similar lines. If you observe, I'm comparing climate of Mumbai, right? I'm comparing a part of a place with is better than Hyderabad. Now the error becomes is you cannot compare climate of Mumbai to entire Hyderabad because there are so many things to be compared in Hyderabad. So you have to make sure that comparison is absolutely clear. So in that case, you might be wondering, sir, why cannot I write simply climate of Hyderabad? All right, let's see if I can write better than climate of Hyderabad. Can I go with this? Well, unfortunately, no. Because the general rule is nouns cannot be repeated twice or more than that in a given sentence. So, what do we use in that case? There's something called as pronoun, and the right pronoun is something called as demonstrative pronoun. And the right answer is the climate of Mumbai is better than that of Hyderabad. Now, why did I write that of? Now, the word that of basically refers to what? Climate. And hence, now the comparison is equal. It is based on the similar lines. So, I hope this particular question is absolutely clear for you all. All right. Let me give you one more example so that you are clear with this. The people of India are smarter than Australia. You already know why I'm using Australia. Yeah, just like you, even I'm dealing with the trauma of World Cup final. All right, so let's go. The people of India are smarter than Australia. Again, if you observe here, guys, I'm comparing people of India smarter than, and I'm comparing people of Australia, but that has not been explicitly mentioned, right? Because if I write this way, it means that I'm comparing with the entire country Australia, which doesn't make any sense. And hence to make the comparison clear, I'll have to use an appropriate demonstrative pronoun called as not that of, those of. Now you might be wondering, so why did you use those of? Well, my dear friends, if you observe here, I'm referring it to people, which is plural, right? So that is singular, those is plural, which I'm sure you already know. If you want more on demonstrative pronouns, please type in the comment section. I'd like to see and make a video on that. Let's move on to the next one. You have your timer, guys, 20 seconds. Let's go. All right, time's up. Let's discuss what is the error here. Keeping in mind that India is one of the world's fastest growing economies, many international companies are invested in India. Understand the scenario of the sentence, and that is very important. And actually, it is a tense based error detection. And what do I mean by that? See, in the present, India is growing, and this action is continuous. It is an ongoing action of the present, and any ongoing action of the present is always expressed in present continuous tense. And generally, the structure of present continuous tense is subject, and the helping verb is, am, are, and the main verb form is V4 plus object. And what is this V4? V4 represents to the ing form of the verb. Any verb you take and you add ing, it generally becomes your V4 form. So if you observe here, since this action is ongoing, India is still growing on. I mean, it is a continuous action, and many companies keep on coming, and they are continuously investing in it. So the right structure would be companies are invested in India. No, it would be incorrect. It would be not correct. The right answer is investing in India, because it's a present continuous tense. I believe this particular doubt or this particular question is absolutely clear for you all. Let's move on to the next one. Your timer starts now. All right. Let's see the answer for this particular question. This is Binoy's and Vivek's restaurant, and it has many different types of cuisines, no error. Now, my dear friends, let's see what is this Binoy's and Vivek's. I'm sure you would have seen this particular thing in most of the words. What is the significance of that? I mean, if I were to write like this, Rahul car and Rahul's car, which one would you go with? Obviously, you would say, of course, Rahul's car. Now, my question is, what is the significance of this then? I mean, why cannot I simply write like this? So, this particular thing, apostrophe, this is called as apostrophe, and this is used with nouns, especially to indicate possession or ownership. So, if you want to talk about any possession or ownership, belonging of someone or something, or generally someone, because apostrophe is purely used with living things or living beings, and hence we use that. Like I write Nita's daughter. I don't write Nita daughter, I write Nita's daughter. So similarly, here I'm talking about a restaurant which belongs to these people, right? Binoy and Vivek. Now, whenever you have two nouns connected by that, there is a small rule which we'll see that. First of all, I believe that you are clear with this apostrophe. I repeat again, apostrophe is purely used to indicate possession or ownership, belonging of something, someone. All right. Now, let's see what is the rule for this particular error detection question. See, whenever you have two nouns, let me take one simple example, Rajiv and Shreya. Suppose you have two different nouns or two different names, and if you're using apostrophe only with the second name, and after that, whatever the noun you're going to write, observe Rajiv and Shreya's house, then remember this particular house belongs to both of them. Is this clear? It means both are co-owners of this house. It belongs to both of them. But what if you are going to use apostrophe with both the names? That is Rajiv's and Shreya's houses. It means I'm talking about two different houses. I'm talking about two different ownerships. One belonging to Rajiv and one belonging to Shreya. Now, you might be taking the same concept, and now can you answer the question? And you would be saying, of course, sir, the error is Binoy and Vivek. So apostrophe is used in both the names, and hence it should be restaurants. Because if you're using apostrophe with both the names, whatever the noun you're going to use, it should be plural, because I'm talking about two different ownerships. However, my dear friends, please always judge from the context of the sentence. Now, what is the context of the sentence? This is. What is the meaning of this is? This refers to singular and is singular. It is or it has, which again points out that I'm talking about a single restaurant. So, in other words, this particular question basically talks about a restaurant which belongs to both Binoy and Vivek, and hence the right correction should be not Binoy's and Vivek's, it should be Binoy and Vivek's restaurant. I hope this particular doubt is clear. Actually, many of the aspirants do not know this because they generally skip these tiny and minuscule rules. So you need to really be on top of your game if you're approaching for any competitive examinations. There is no room for, casual approach, right? So let's move on to the next one. So your timer starts now. Time's up. Okay. A good leader take right and quick decisions in important matters. No error. There's a small concept here. Actually, it is from verbs and tenses. So let me explain that. See, whenever you generally have a singular subjects, okay, your main verb or generally your main action verb, that is what I mean by main verb is generally your action words like go, sit, like, love, eat. Okay, your actions. They generally take S or ES form in the end. They are called as V5 form of the verbs. V5 means S or ES form of the verbs. Meaning, suppose if I take she, the subject is singular or plural? Obviously, it is singular. So if I were to write like, should I write like or likes? Obviously, you would say she likes. Why? Why do you think I'm writing this S again here? Because the subject is singular. Whenever you have singular subject, your main action will take S or ES form of the verb. Suppose if the subject turns out to be a plural subject, if the subject is a plural subject, instead of she, I'm going to change the subject to they. Now what happens to the same verb like? It takes its original form, that is, it is called as V1 form. All right. So if I were to summarize, for any singular subjects, you have V5 form. What is V5 again here? S or ES form of the verb. Whereas for plural subjects, we generally take V1 form. Now what is V1, V5? See, there are generally 5 forms of the verb. V1, V2, V3, V4, V5. Okay, suppose if I take a particular verb called as sing. Okay, sing, its past form of sing will become V2, which is sang, and V3 becomes sung. V4, as I've told you, ing form singing. V5 is sings. But however, there is a small catch. So if you said singular S or ES form, suppose if I take the subject called I, now here where the confusion comes in. It's not I like, it's not I likes, it is I like. Why is that? Because I and you are exceptions. So always remember, I and you will always take V1 form of the verb. And except I and you, any other singular subject is going to take V5 form of the verb. Now, coming to the question, a good leader. Now, if you observe, the word leader is basically pointing out to a singular one. So because it is singular, my main verb form what happens? It happens, it should be takes. Okay, a good leader takes right and quick decisions on important matters. I hope this particular question is absolutely clear with this particular knowledge of or awareness of the rule. All right, let's move on to the next one. Your timer starts now. Alrighty, let's stop it and let's see. Of the two cities, Mumbai is the largest. Very tricky one. Now, if you want to solve this particular question, you should have a thorough knowledge of degrees of comparison. So, which I'm going to explain. See, generally in adjectives, we have 3 degrees of comparison, and pretty much you would have studied in your school days. Okay, I'm just going to go through that here. I believe you all can see this. All right, it's been dangling over here. All right, so these are the 3 degrees of comparison. Okay, what are the 3 degrees of comparison? That is positive, comparative, and superlative. Now, what is positive degree? Generally, the adjective in the original form. Like as you can see over here, sweet, young. There is no change in the word. Okay, it's in original form. Comparative. Generally, whenever you describe an object, you generally use positive degree of the verb. For example, he is a tall boy. I'm not saying he's a taller boy because I'm just describing the person. Okay, she is a kind person. Okay, I'm not saying she is kinder person because I'm not comparing that person with anyone. So generally, to describe any person in general, we use positive degree. When it comes to comparative, we generally use comparative whenever we are comparing two things or two people at different levels. Like I can say, um, they are they are better than we are. Okay, now you might be saying so, but they are better than us. I'm going to touch on that topic a little later. It is based on pronouns, right? So generally it is used for to compare between two things, comparative degree. Coming to superlative, superlative is used when the comparison is among more than two things or more than two people, right? So you're picking one particular person or one particular thing out of many, especially more than two. So that is the basic idea of degrees of comparison. So sweet, sweeter, sweetest. I'm sure pretty much in your school days you have done this, right? Wise, wiser, wisest. However, there are certain words also for which we cannot write comparative form. Like there are certain words, for example, if I were to take a word like intelligent, do you think there is a word called intelligenter? Do you think there's a word called intelligentist? Brilliant, brillianter, brilliantest? No, absolutely not. That sounds ridiculous, right? But however, if you want to convert those words into comparative or superlative form, you'll have to take additional help of the words called more or most or less or least. For example, if you can look at the word here, difficult. Difficult is one such word which will not have the traditional comparative form of the verb called as difficulter. I mean, it sounds obviously very absurd here. So you can convert that into comparative form by writing more or less difficult. If you compare positively more, negatively less difficult, most or less least difficult, right? So having said that, having an awareness of this particular construction, or you can say degrees of comparison, we can go back to our previous slide and discuss the answer over here. So what is the answer? See, whenever the rule says, whenever there is of the two phrase in any given sentence, remember the structure of the degree of comparison should be written in this format. The construction is in this format. What is the construction? The plus comparative degree. So if you observe, of the two cities, Mumbai is the is there. But if you observe, it is, I have written comparative degree, whereas largest is superlative degree. So what is the comparative degree of largest? Obviously you would say larger. So that's why the right answer is, of the two cities, Mumbai is the larger. I believe now you guys are absolutely clear. Now, I repeat again, why did we choose the here? Now, there is one specific reason also, because out of two, you're talking about one obvious choice. And whenever you talk about anything very specific, we use the article over there. Whenever I'm dealing with the chapter of articles, I'll deal about that in detail. Now, since I've told you this, let me give you one simple example so that you can answer. Uh, Let me write one example and see how many of you can answer this. So suppose this is my example, okay? The Ganga is holier than of the two rivers. Now, what did I say? Whenever you come across of the two, whenever you have of the phrase of the two, the comparison construction should always be the plus comparative degree. And obviously, the right answer is, I mean, the error is in holier than. So the error should be, so the right answer should be, the Ganga is the holier. I believe you guys are absolutely clear now. So this is the beauty of rules. It's always spot on, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Question number 6, and you have your 20 seconds. All right, everybody, time's up. The academic session will begin from 15th of September, no error. Again, the sentence is quite tricky because we are talking about a future event, and apparently, generally, whenever we talk about future event, we use will or shall over there. So, but actually, we need to also understand what type of event are we talking about. Uh, in chapter of tenses, there are comprehensive rules. Okay, learning tenses and structures is one thing, and to know when and how they are used is another aspect. And whenever I'm touching the chapter of tenses, I will be going in those rules in detail. But as of now, if you understand this particular sentence, or if you look at this particular sentence, it is conveying a fixed action of the future. Fixed action of the future. Although it's a futuristic event, but what kind of futuristic event it is? It is a fixed action. Now, whenever you're expressing a fixed action of the future, the rule says you should always express this in simple present, or you can say present indefinite tense. And what is the structure of simple present or present indefinite tense? Subject plus V1 or V5 plus object. Now, I have already discussed a little bit on V1 or V5. V1 is the basic form of the verb, and V5 is S or ES form of the verb, right? Now, you know when to use that also. So, if you feel little confused, go back to the previous questions where I've expressed probably in the second question. You can take a look at that. Now, so the right answer would be the academic session will begin. No, it would not be right. It would be the academic session begins. Now, why do I choose begins here? Because the words season or session, basically season over here, I'm sorry, I misspelled it. The academic season, basically the word season is singular. Because of that, I have to go with V5 form. I repeat again, whenever you're talking about singular subjects, you're going to use V5 form. Whenever you're talking about plural subjects, you're going to use V1 form. The exception is for subjects I and you, although they are singular, and sometimes you is also used in plural, okay, because it is similar in both singular and plural. But please do remember, I and you will always take V1 form. All right, fine. Let's move on to the next one. Yes, let's see how many of you can get this. I'm betting that many of you would not be getting the right answer. And if you get it, let's see. All right, time's up, everybody. So the rule, if you observe the question, there are 2 scores of books which are lying unused in library. Now, there are few factors in this particular question. Now, how many of you know the meaning of the word score? The word score in terms of quantity refers to set of 20 things, right? So whenever you talk about quantity, okay, that is, if I were to speak about dozen, 100, okay, 1000 or whatever, score, pair, my question to you is, should I be writing it as dozen or dozens? Should I be writing it as 100 or hundreds? Score or scores, pair or pairs? Which one I should be going with? So there is one particular rule which will help us to correctly use these quantities based on a particular number associated with that. What do I mean by that? Let me explain you through this a simple rule. Suppose if we have a definite number, and after that you are using any quantity, then remember this particular quantity should always be singular in nature. And of course, the noun should always be followed by plural one. Why do we have to go with plural noun? See, dozen means set of 12. Pair, 2 things. Score, set of 20 things. 100, already have a particular number. So, as you can see here, if you have a specific number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you observe here 2, there is a specific number before this quantity, and that is the reason we have to write it as 2 score of books. I hope this rule is absolutely clear. Now, obvious question you would be having is, sir, what if there is no specific number before that? Of course, if there is no indefinite number, then the quantity that you are going to use, of course, you got it right, everyone, is going to be plural. And of course, again, the noun should be plural noun. And this indefinite number can come in many different forms. I mean, it could be adjectives, or sometimes there is no number at all. Okay. So I'll give you an example so that you are clear with this concept. All right. So what is the example that I'm going to give you here? Is uh, the example is, okay. This is one such example that I'm giving you. Could you tell me what is the error? Several score of men died in the battle. Obviously, you would say, see, look at the quantity. Before that, what is the word you have? Several. Now, when you talk about the word several, it is not giving me any fixed number. So clearly, it is indefinite. I mean, it is completely non-specific. I don't have any specific number. And hence, according to the rule, this particular quantity should become plural. So then in that case, it would be correct. But no, not entirely. What did I tell you? After this, if whatever the noun you're going to write, it has to be plural. So it should not be man, it should be meant to. Generally, what happens is people practice error in only one part. But do remember that you do have questions wherein error in multiple parts. So always make sure that you're reading the entire context of the sentence. And you are very clear with the directions that you're going to read for each question. Okay, fine. So having said that, let's move on to the next question, guys. Question number 8. Again, an interesting one. You have your timer. All right, let's move on to the next one, guys. I mean, this particular question, I'm sorry. Let's discuss this. The table's wood is infested with mite and I'm likely to dispose it off. Now, if you observe in this case, an apostrophe has been used in this word table's wood. I've already told you generally apostrophe signifies or indicates possession or ownership or belonging with respect to nouns. However, that it is restricted only with the living beings, meaning we cannot use apostrophe with non-living things. So you cannot say fan's blade isn't working. I mean, that's absurd because a fan cannot own its blade, right? It's assembled part of it. You cannot say computer CPU. You always say the CPU of a computer. So what should be the right answer then? Well, the right answer should be the wood of the table. Okay. So I had told you about fan's blade. That is incorrect. So you can write the blade of the fan, something like that. I hope everybody is clear with this. So the error is in which part? The error is in part A. Let's move on to the next question and you have your timer. I hope guys this session is helping you. Please do comment after this. Hit a like. Let's know how it's going. Okay, time's up everybody. The function was held at Mumbai and as a result, not much of them were able to attend it. If you observe here, the error is clearly in part 3 because you're talking about people, the attendance of people, that people did not attend it. And the right, this particular word is completely incorrect because the word much is used with uncountable nouns only, the nouns which you cannot count. And people are countable forms. So that's why we have to use not many of them were able to attend it. Okay. Suppose if you're walking into a store and say, I would like to buy, I want to buy some sugar. And of course, the stationery guy would be responding with, how much sugar do you want? Now, why do you think he has used the word much? Because the word sugar is uncountable, because you can't count sugar. I hope you got my point. When it comes to people, when it comes to things around us which are countable, we use the word many with that. That is the difference. Let's move on to the next one, guys. All the doubts are cleared between you and I. So you have your timer. This is a concept, a small concept on pronoun. Chalo, quickly. Righty, time's up. Okay. So if you have a good concept of pronouns, you'd 100% solve it very easily. Now, the rule says whenever you come across these particular words, let, except, between, or generally any preposition, right? After this, if you are using any particular pronoun, it should always be objective case of pronoun. So you might be wondering, what is this objective case? So I've taken this particular slide. I believe you can see this, guys. Okay. So see, there are different types of personal pronouns. One is called as subject pronouns, objective pronouns. I'm going to deal with that later. What is subjective pronouns? These are the pronouns which replace the subject of the sentence. And what are objective pronouns? The one which replaces the object of the pronouns, right? So you need to have a little understanding of subject and object of a sentence. So if you observe in the previous case, I is the subjective case and me is the objective case. I and me basically refers to the first person, that is the person who is talking or this or the speaker, you can say that. So if you observe from this particular list, the objective pronoun, see between, and after between, whatever pronoun I have to use, it should always be objective case. And you is anyways both same in singular, subjective as well as objective case. But the I's objective case is me. I hope this is absolutely clear. Okay, let's move on to the, so if you feel that, okay, sir, I'm not too sure about it, so don't worry, in the chapter of pronouns, I'll be explaining you that, right? So let's move on to that. Let's move on to the 11th one. The manager ordered the watchman to let the boys and I go in. A very similar question to the previous one. Oh, I think I missed out on putting the timer, but anyways, you can take your time now. All right, time's up, everybody. Let's see what is the answer for this. The manager ordered the watchman to let the boys and I go in. If you observe here, the main highlight of the main subject, the meaning of subject is doer of the action, is manager. So if manager is the subject, the boys and I are clearly the ones receiving the action, and receiver of the action is termed as object. And if any particular pronoun is in the place of object, the pronoun you have to use is objective pronoun. Just in this case, I've explained you. So the objective pronouns, these are the different objective pronouns. And since you're talking about I's objective pronoun is me. So again, the right answer here would be to let the boys and me go in. So I believe you are absolutely clear with this. Let's move on to the next one. Question number 12. Many a warrior has met their death in the battlefield. Chalo, 10 seconds. Since I've already given 10 seconds before. All right, time's up, everybody. Let's see what is the error. I'm sure most of you said the error is in maybe second part, because how come you can use warrior? Many warriors it should be? No, absolutely not. So again, there is an important construction you should know. Of course, we write I have many friends, okay, many books, which is fine. Many should be followed by plural countable noun. However, if many comes under, if you come under this construction, many is followed by a or an, 100% it should be followed by singular countable noun. This is a construction that we as Indians use very less in our communication, because obviously we are non-native speakers of English. But however, someone who's a good speaker of English, they would definitely use. Why do they use it? This just adds style to the language. And if you are a keen or a lover or an avid lover of sports, then in a lot of your commentary you would hear this, especially in cricket. Dinesh Karthik uses this a lot, many a time, right? So this is something that you should be wary of. So many a warrior, so this entire construction is considered as singular. Because it is singular, my verb and pronoun is also going to be singular. Your verb and pronoun is purely dependent on the nature of the subject, and this one is singular, and hence my verb and pronoun should be singular. Has, chalo, it's fine, it is singular. But if you observe here, the pronoun they have used is there, which is plural in this case. Now the question is, what kind of pronoun should I be using? Well, the right pronoun I have to be using is his. Now that's another important doubt. So why should I not use her? And some people get offended by this. Well, let's put that doubt for the end today. Okay, see, whenever you are talking about anything in a very general manner, the gender associated with that general manner is always masculine. Something which masculine refers to the pronouns used for males. Suppose if I'm writing a statement called as a doctor should do his, her, their duty diligently. Now, let's suppose this is the sentence and you have to make the right choice of using pronouns. And of course, there is gone out of the context. Why? As I already told you, here the subject is singular. And if you have a singular subject, you cannot use a plural pronoun. Simple as that. Now, the question is, which one should I be going with? His, her, duty diligently. And a lot of the females watching this video, I'm sure you might be saying her, her. But guys, I'm sorry to disappoint you, because anything that you are using as a generalized form, okay, there are some nouns which are commonly used for to refer both males and females. Like if I say we are looking out for a musician for our function, we are looking out for a dancer. When I say musician or a dancer, I'm not particularly referring it to a male or a female, any person, right? So these are some nouns like dancer, musician, lawyer, doctor, student, teacher. It is commonly used for both males and females. And whenever you're using these nouns in a generalized manner, the pronouns that you're going to, or the gender of pronouns you're going to associate with them is always going to be masculine, guys, and not her. Okay? I know. Don't come at me like that. I didn't make the rules. Ask Simon. All right? The Britishers, I would say. So the right answer would be a doctor should do his duty diligently. So let's move on to the next one, guys. We have last three questions. Yep, the time starts now. Again, it is something based on your adjectives. Okay, your time's up. From all accounts, I learned that he is the best and honest member of the new committee. So if you observe here, whenever you're using two adjectives to describe the same person or a same thing, whenever you're using two adjectives to describe the same person or same thing, remember guys, both these adjectives should be of the same degree. What do I mean by that? Both these adjectives should be either positive, comparative, okay, or comparative, or maybe superlative, depending on the level of comparison. If you observe here, I'm comparing this person, he, with the entire committee. So if I'm picking out one particular person out of everyone, that is clearly, it means that I'm talking about more than two people. So I have to use which degree? You guessed it right, superlative degree. So the best, chalo, this is fine, it is superlative degree. And what about this? Honest member. Yes, of course, it looks like superlative. This is very deceiving. The word honest is quite deceiving because honest is a positive degree adjective. It is not a superlative one. So what would be its superlative form? Yes, it would be the most honest member. And hence the right answer would be he is the best, because best is superlative of good. Good, better, best. And honest, superlative is the most honest. So the right answer, if I were to write here, he is the best and the most honest member. And both, if you observe, are superlative degree. And hence now the answer looks absolutely correct. I repeat again, why did we choose superlative degree here? We chose superlative degree because I'm comparing he, that person, with the entire committee, superlative form, and hence that is the reason. Question number 14, a very, very similar question. I'm sure now you're getting it, guys. Please let me know in the comment box. Come on, you can do that. How these particular sessions are helping you. Let me know so that I can come up with more and more such important sessions. Especially this is a season where you have many different kinds of competitive exams coming up, right? All right, time's up. Our new playground is big and cleaner than theirs. Again, if you observe here, you are using two adjectives to describe a same thing. And you need, and what did I tell you? Big is positive degree and cleaner is comparative degree. And both adjectives should be of the same degree. But of which one should I be choosing? Positive, comparative, and superlative. If you observe here, I'm comparing two elements, are and there. So I'm comparing playground of two different societies or people, whatever you're talking about, right? So since I'm talking or comparing between only two things at different levels, I have to use comparative degree. So the right answer would be is bigger and cleaner, right? Chalo, let's move on to the next one. So far, so good, everybody. Okay, so if you have made to this far, fantastic, lovely. Let's move on to the 15th one, and the timer starts now. All right, everybody, time's up. Let's see this particular sentence. My brother is not at home. He has gone out in the morning. Now, again, it pretty much looks like a harmless sentence. A lot of you might be writing, oh, I think probably it should be had, but still it is wrong, my friends. Now, why is that? See, whenever you have a timeline mentioned of the past, okay, generally timeline of the past should be written in simple past tense. In most cases, there are some conditions, of course, you have to write in past perfect. When I'm dealing with tenses chapter, I'll be going in detail in that. But however, in the morning, it's a timeline which has already been completed. It's done and dusted in the past. And that is why the right sentence should be he has gone. No, it is not correct. He went out. Now, if I were to give you a small insight about this, the three verb forms of go are go, not gone, it's went and gone. Go, no, not go, are gone, obviously. It's go, went and gone. Okay. Similarly, if I were to write do, the three verb forms of do are do, did, done. So if I were to say I have done my work yesterday. So what do you think the error is? Of course, you would say, since I've used a timeline called yesterday, which is of the past, which is already completed, I have to write this in simple past. And the structure of simple past is subject V2 plus object. V2 refers to the past form of the verb, and hence it should be I did my work yesterday. So I believe you guys are absolutely clear, guys. Okay. Question number 16th. Then probably this is the last question. So yeah, 15 seconds. All right, time's up, everybody. After hearing from both the parties, the jury was divided in its decision, which has delayed the judgment. A very, very good question, because there is it is based on a concept called as collective noun, right? See, what is a collective noun? Collective noun basically refers to a name given to a group of things. Like if I were to tell you a group of soldiers, what are they called as? Of course, you would say army. Similarly, what do you call a group of players? A team. A group of students or group of learners, you call them as class. Similarly, a group of judges, what do you call them? A jury or a panel. Now the question is, what kind of verb do these particular collective nouns take? Do they take a singular verb or do they take a plural verb? Well, it purely depends on this particular rule. What does the rule say? If you come across any collective noun, my dear friends, is you'll have to check whether the action of this collective noun is united, or you can say if it is displaying unity, then my verb and pronoun is going to be singular. But if the collective noun's action indicates division or it indicates individualism, then my verb and pronoun will take a plural verb. Now, based on that, if you look at the sentence, you can 100% answer the question. If you observe, jury is a collective noun, and whenever you see collective noun in a sentence, the first thing and foremost is you have to observe what is the nature of the action. If you observe divided, so it is talking about division, and hence verb and pronoun should be in plural form. That's why jury were divided in their decision which has delayed the judgment. So I hope you're absolutely clear with this. I hope this has enlightened you and it has shown how by knowing the right rules you can effectively and efficiently answer these error detection questions. I'll be coming up with more parts, but I would like to know in the comment section of how was this particular video, right? It was an absolute fun here coming for you all and doing this particular video, and there are many such videos which would really help you, and because this is an exam season and it's going to and we are planning to do a lot many things. And also make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please like this video, please comment on this, share it with your friends who can find it absolutely helpful. And what happens with general English is also that even though your friends may not be preparing, it will really help them in learning grammar very well. So that's it from our side. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Have a great day.